So about the Elemax SFX Studio, I've been working as a photographer for many years. So before I even met Ellie, I actually had this studio and did commercial photo shoots, fashion and stuff like that. And when I met Ellie, we of course started filming here, because that's the obvious thing to do if you want it to look good. So behind me you see the nice little space. And over there, behind all the light stuff, you see our little table. And let's see what we got more here. This weird way of filming this. Whoa. Whoa, there's a ladder back there, and whoa. Now we are closer to Ellie's gear corner here, where there is lots of stuff on the shelves.
Hello! Hello!
Old masks we have created. And of course the backdrop, which we are gonna change out in a little while though. Alright, so let's take a look at the gear that has helped us create Elemax SFX videos for the last 2 years. Beginning with the camera of choice. And that has been the Nikon D810 DSLR camera. It's a full-blown professional DSLR. And yeah, that's pretty much all we need to know about this. However, it misses a lot of the stuff that newer cameras have, like extremely fast autofocus when you're shooting video, which we do. And yeah, so lately we have upgraded or downgraded, depending on how you see it. But we have changed this out for another one, and that's the one I'm filming with right now. And we'll check that later. But this one though is so good. It's such a complete camera. Amazing stills, 36 megapixels. It's great in low light, and it's an overall performer. It's quiet, it's fast, it's just a workhorse. And it can take a beating as well, because I kind of drop my cameras every now and then, so that's a good thing. But of course, great gear is nothing unless you know how to use it. So, and that's where I come in, of course. But hey, a camera is only as good as the lens you put on it. And for the last 2 years, picking this up, this guy here has been doing the job for Elemax SFX. It's the Nikon 105mm VR lens. Now this one is actually made for close-up photography of insects and whatever you want to shoot. So the good thing about this is that I can shoot Ellie from far away, get the whole picture in, and I can also just switch back and roll up to her and shoot like lash or something really close up, or when she applies eyeshadow, and I'm sure you've seen me do that in a lot of videos. So this one is really awesome. It also has a vibration reduction, so if I shake the camera a little, this one just makes the photo and the video just sit still, even though it's shaking. Both that lens and the camera are professional, so they are not the cheapest things you could possibly find, but since I also do a lot of commercial shooting, I want proper gear. So why not use it for this as well? But when it comes to the still shots, which I hope you like, I'm a sucker for real intense and insane quality. So for the still shots, most of the time we use this brick here. It's a solid piece of metal from Zeiss. It's the 85mm 1.4 Otus, and this is not the cheapest lens either. It's actually one of the most expensive ones in the world for what it does. But that's because when they created this, they said, let's do a lens that's totally without compromises, that's totally flawless, and they did. So actually costs more than the camera, but it's so worth it, and it's gonna last you a whole lifetime. So that's the one we're using for most of the still shots for Elemax SFX, and that presents us with a little challenge actually, because most people don't shoot with gear like this, at least not for tutorials and the kind of videos we do. So what happens when we shoot with extreme quality glass and extreme quality cameras is that we see every tiny little flaw everywhere is just super visible. And that brings us into the subject of retouching. How much do we retouch our photos? Yeah, I'll guide you through that in a while. However, let's take a look at the look. Let's take a look at another camera we are using, and this is mostly used for when Ellie is doing prep work at the table, when we film over her shoulder down to when she's working. That's the camera, and this one, there it is. It's the Nikon D5500, and this is actually an entry-level camera. It's a fairly cheap camera from Nikon, and it's great for filming because you have this flippy screen you can turn any way you like, so you can actually see what you're doing. And on this right now is a lens, again a super great lens, the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8, and this is check the reviews for this. Everyone just loves it, specifically for video. And yeah, it's really awesome. Some of the still shots have been shot with this combination as well. The Frankenstein's Bride, or whatever we call that one, among others. And also Voldemort was shot with this. And of course, as you may have noticed as well, that the last videos we have upped the game a little bit with a lot of zooming and panning, and woo! It's a bit more fluid, the shots, and that's because we have changed up the camera. So the camera is now, and since I'm filming with that camera, I can show you the camera. So I'm gonna put in Sony's great picture here. This is what we're using, and yeah, pretty cool. Another challenge we are presented with is the fact that I'm filming Ellie into a mirror. And off camera, when she's done with the makeup, we usually apply more shading, a bit more color maybe, so that the makeup actually survives through the lighting and all the setups we do when we shoot the intro and the still photography. Because it's usually a much harsher light, so for the makeup to actually survive and be seen the right way, we add a little extra in between. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes we do. Some say it's manipulating, but we say that the poster shot and the intro should look really good, and they actually show the makeup as it is. So, and you, after all, you see it in the mirror as well. So, we think we are pretty transparent and honest about it. And as for retouching the photos, we've been touching that subject before, so I'm gonna show you that right now. How do we edit a photo? So let's jump right in and do the voodoo doll, and this is what it looks like straight out of the camera. We can see here, it's pretty detailed, and yeah, every single strand of hair is there, and we have a few flaws on it, like this edge here, which we get because we only use one light from above to get a dramatic effect. And since we only have one light, it turns a bit dark. We get no light at all, so it's pretty dark here, and this feature on the neck is pretty crucial for the makeup. So what we do here in one single step with one plugin is that I adjust the color, I bring out this little area, and it looks like this. You see? The overall white balance is adjusted. She turns a bit more yellow. We lighten this area up, and also, very important, if you look at the details, see the details are really crackling everywhere. And this filter is actually called structure, and it does just that. It brings out structure in any texture, and that's perfect for this one. So we continue by adding a background, of course, because we want something that isn't just plain gray. And now we want the background and the doll to speak the same kind of graphic language, so we add a filter to everything. Bam! Now they seem more connected. So again, that was the structure filter. The background, pretty flat and soft, and with the structure filter on, the details come, and the details come even more on the doll. Works in this case. We still have a little issue here because the light's coming from above, and also here and here. But hey, we leave them. We actually leave them for this. So, next up, I think that the blood and everything looks kind of too much here.
I don't like the color, so I do a little color adjustment. You see what happens? I take away color, darken down the image a little bit. Kind of looks dull now, but it gets that voodoo brown vibe on it. And now it's time to enhance even more, so we take the stuff here that's already dark. It's dark, it's dark, it's dark, because we brightened that up a lot already. So we bring that down again, you see? Boom. Bring it down. And we also bring the shadows here down and the shadows along the hairline. So by doing this, we get a more defined doll. And again, I'm just adjusting what's actually there. So to finish this up real quick, we add a little bit of contrast because it's kind of dark. So there you go. Bam. So there you go. The full doll. From this to this is bringing out every detail in that doll. So let's do another one, and this time we go for the melted face, because here we have actually removed a flaw and edge. Oh my god! No, don't worry. I'll show you why. So this lighting is totally different from the one on the voodoo doll, because here this is straight on and it's really harsh. To begin with, the light is so hard, it's insane. So we need to bring some of the ribs back, okay? And we do that with something called dodge and burn, and it looks like this. Bam. You see? Hey. No ribs, more ribs. Faded ribs, more ribs. You also see we bring back some of the shading Ellie has done in her face. So, makeup that's already there but eaten up by the light. So I'm adding it back. So next up is the flaw that we're gonna remove, and there are two of them, and I'm gonna show you exactly where. We have a hairline here that kind of distracts a little from the general makeup, and also we do have a line here that's very bright. You know, the gelatin we used, it's shiny, it's very shiny, so well, we want to take that down a notch. We could have done that with powder before shooting, but we didn't. So we go for removing that now. Bam! Remove it and remove the hair. And we also added a little punch in the eyes there. So before and after. Of course, this little edge here might as well been staying there, but it was eating up my eye when I looked at the image. So I removed it, and you be the judge. Am I manipulating too much, or is it safe? Alright, next up, it's basic contrast adjustments. We just add one epic contrast to the overall image, and now we see that the blood is way out. It's looking like yeah, like a 70s movie or something. So we have to adjust that, and we select just the red color range and bring the light and saturation down a bit. So before, after. Going a closer. So after, before, after, before. So that's what we do there, and the rest of the image is untouched, with the exception of color changes. So you see, just go towards the green there on the whole image to make it look a bit more deadish. So that's what we do. A bit more green. There's all red. See, the hair is red. Now it goes more towards the green, and that's pretty much it. Let's do one more real quick, and we do the clicker this time. And now I'm gonna show how we enhance what's already there, and I don't actually call that manipulating, and I'll show you why. Alright, so this is what we've got, and of course we need to find a suitable background image and get that in there. So there we have the background in there. And of course this is a licensed image. Do not steal photos online. So now we go closer, and we see that this whole thing kind of looks faded and boring, And what we want to do is bring back some of the contrast in just the areas we want. So all the things that are dark and all the things that are light, let's just make them darker and lighter or brighter, like that. Bam! See? Again, see the little highlight on her hair, for instance? The highlight becomes more highlighted, and the areas around it, which are darker from the beginning, becomes darker. Same goes for the makeup up here. Areas that are dark from the beginning become darker, and vice versa. So this is where we are, and that's how it's turning out. So it's a small adjustment, but it does a lot to the overall image. Now, going forward, again, I feel the blood is a little off for my taste, so we do a little color adjustment and contrast adjustment again. Now, there we got a real punch, flat and boom. We also see that the blood, the color changed a little bit here. It's pretty flat, and when you add the contrast and bring down some of that saturation, the blood actually looks more movie-like, and that's what we want. And the next step is again also contrast and color. This time we actually remove even more color and give it sort of a yellow brownish tone over it. I know Ellie hates that, but it actually suits this image. And on top of that, to bring back some of the pop, a little contrast again. So that's pretty much what we have done, and nothing else is even touched on this image. It's straight from the camera, so to speak. So we go from this to this in a few simple steps. At least they are simple to me, but yeah. And I know you want to learn how to do all this, but it's actually taking a while to do it, so I'll look into creating a tutorial where you actually see every tiny little step of what I do, but it's gonna be a long tutorial, so it's coming. I hope you like this video, even though it wasn't a tutorial on how to do the exact things I did to the images, but that one is coming, and it's gonna be more complex. Don't forget to subscribe, and hey, don't forget to discuss about image manipulation in the comments. Is it cheating? How far can you go before it's cheating? Yeah, let's hear it. Let's talk about it. See you soon!